Welcome back. We're on the campus of the University of Nevada, Las Vegas in the Cox Pavilion. All the candidates are now seated. We're going to begin the second half of this presidential debate. Our White House correspondent, Suzanne Malveaux, is here with us. And Suzanne, you have some undecided voters who are ready to ask these presidential candidates some specific questions. Let's begin right now.
Sure, Wolf. They are all very excited. About 100 folks here. I've had a chance to actually meet at least some of you here, and obviously I noticed when you were responding to some of the candidates who were shaking your head, wrinkling your nose. I'm not sure if they've answered your questions, and this is your opportunity to ask the candidates what you really care about. Katherine Jackson, I want to start off with you. If you'd stand with your son, please. Now, Katherine, I understand that you're quite concerned about your son, Christopher. You have served 3 tours of duty in Iraq, and you're... Recognize your service. That's for you, Christopher. Your mother, I spoke with her, your mom is so worried that you're going to be called to duty again, but not to be deployed in Iraq, but rather Iran. Do you share her concern?
Yes, I do, and I feel that if we continue on the path we're at, that's where we're going to end up in Iran. And that's not what our troops need. Our troops need to come home now.
Katherine, your question.
I finally got my son home after 3 tours of policing Iraq Civil War. Yeah, members of the Bush administration and the conservative members of Congress are beating the drums of war again. My son is still part of the Marine Individual Ready Reserve, and if President Bush starts another unnecessary war, there will be a chance that he'll likely be recalled for war. All of you on the stage have either, have formal political power or significant informal power and have the ability to stop the rush to war. Please tell me how you're going to show us your leadership on this issue now so I can decide who I think would be the best leader for tomorrow.
To Senator Biden, please.
The way to do that, ma'am, is to not ratchet up the winds of war here. We had a vote in the United States Senate on declaring the Quds Force, the Special Forces, and the Revolutionary Guard to be a terrorist organization. A lot of people voted for that. 70-some voted for it. It's a serious, serious mistake. Because what it does, it was completely counterproductive. What it did was, ma'am, it convinced the rest of the Muslim world this is really a war against Islam and not a war in Iraq. And number 2, it caused the price of oil to head to $100 a barrel. We're paying $30 a barrel for what they call a risk premium, and it helped to stabilize the situation both in Afghanistan and Pakistan. So the way to do this is keep quiet, hush up, and do what I told the president personally and what I've said as chairman of the Foreign Relations Committee. If he takes the country to war in Iraq without a vote of Congress, which will not exist, then he should be impeached.
Senator Clinton, you voted for that resolution. You're the only one on the stage who did vote for that resolution. Do you want to respond to Senator Biden?
I wasn't attacking
No.
I know, but she did vote for the resolution. But if you could address this young man and his mother about their fear that because of your vote, he might have to go fight in Iran.
Well, there is no basis for that fear. There is, however, a deep concern that is well justified about this president. That's why what I tried to do is oppose a rush to war. I started speaking out against it back in February because I was worried about President Bush. Working with members of Congress to do exactly what Joe is saying, which is to make it absolutely clear there is no legal authority whatsoever. But what I think is most important is that we have aggressive diplomacy with Iran. I believe that the Bush administration has allowed this situation to worsen and fester because they won't have any diplomatic relations of any sort with Iran. So what I would do is to immediately begin that kind of negotiation. And I wouldn't ask the Iranians to give up their quest for nuclear power or anything else. Get them to the table. Let's figure out if there's some way we can, number one, ratchet down the tensions. Number two, prevent them from becoming a nuclear weapons power, because that would be dangerous for all of us, and get the rest of the world to help us. We need China and Russia, the neighbors in the region. That's what I would be doing. The only thing I would add, in addition to thanking you for your service, is that having been in Iraq, you know that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard has assisted the militias and others in killing our Americans and in maiming them. They have imported technology and technical assistance. I believe they are a terrorist group. I think sanctioning them and putting some pressure on them is an important part of getting to the diplomatic table with both carrots and sticks.
All right.
So oppose the rush to war, but get tough and have a diplomatic approach to Iran.